Okay, so have you seen this whole thing with Tiger Woods and Vanessa Trump?
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Like
Right.
when I first saw the headlines, I was like, wait, what?
I know, me too. It's like two worlds colliding, Sports celebrity, and then,
Yeah, and politics too, right?
exactly, you've got this huge business and political figure, and then one of the biggest names in sports history.
And they're reportedly like dating now.
Yeah, reportedly dating for months. Apparently, it started around Thanksgiving last year.
It's crazy. And so that's what we're going to dive into today, right? Like, what's the real story here?
Absolutely. We're going to go way beyond just the gossip and try to understand all the connections.
Yeah, because there are a lot of layers to this, right? You've got the whole Trump family dynamic,
And then you've got Tiger's kids, too.
especially his son Charlie, right?
Mhm.
I mean, the kid's a golfing prodigy, just like his dad.
And get this, both Charlie and Vanessa Trump's daughter, Kai, are both going to be competing in this big junior golf tournament soon.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
So they'll be like going head to head?
Potentially. Yeah. And to get all this, we've got some really interesting sources for this deep dive.
Yeah, we've got this in-depth piece from Men's Journal. Then there's this whole profile of Vanessa Trump's life.
And then to round things out, we've got these articles from Slate and the Times of India that dig into the relationship and Vanessa's past.
So, yeah, we're going to try to piece it all together for you
You know,
and see if we can make sense of it all.
should be fascinating.
So let's start with the basics. People magazine and the Daily Mail were the first to break the news about Tiger and Vanessa.
Yeah, that was back in February,
Mm.
and it spread like wildfire. Obviously picked up by everyone, including Slate and the Times of India.
And they're saying that they've been together for several months, starting sometime around Thanksgiving 2024.
Right. Which is interesting because, as Men's Journal points out, Vanessa and Donald Trump Jr. split up 7 years ago.
So this isn't some kind of like whirlwind romance.
No, it seems like they've both had plenty of time to move on.
But it is kind of a strange twist, right? Considering that back in 2019, Donald Trump honored Tiger at the White House during Black History Month.
It's true, there's definitely a history there. And to make things even more complicated, Slate mentions that Tiger and Trump played golf together just last month.
Oh, wow. So like right before the news about him and Vanessa broke.
Exactly. Makes you wonder what the atmosphere was like on that golf
I
course.
bet it was pretty tense.
Maybe. But it's interesting.
I thought.
According to an insider who spoke with People magazine, Donald Trump Jr. is apparently cool with the whole situation.
Really? So he's not like freaking out or anything?
That's what they're saying. I mean, who knows what's really going on behind closed doors? But publicly, at least, he seems to be taking it in stride.
So I guess we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out.
Yeah. But in the meantime, let's shift gears a bit and talk about the kids.
Yeah, because this is where things get really interesting. Both Charlie and Kai are going to be playing in the Junior Invitational Golf Tournament pretty soon.
It's a pretty big deal. In the world of junior golf, it's one of the most prestigious events out there.
And according to Men's Journal, there are 36 boys competing, including Charlie, and 24 girls, including Kai.
The tournament's being held at Sage Valley Golf Club in Graniteville, South Carolina.
Starts March 19th.
Yep, so just a few days away. And what's really fascinating is that both Charlie and Kai have already committed to play golf at the University of Miami.
Oh, wow. So they'll be teammates.
Yeah, potentially. It's a pretty amazing coincidence, considering all the other connections here.
It's like their lives are intertwined in so many ways.
It is. And speaking of intertwined lives, we should probably talk about the fact that Tiger won't be able to caddy for Charlie at the tournament this year.
Oh, that's right. He's still recovering from that Achilles tendon injury.
Yeah, he had surgery a few weeks ago, performed by Dr. Charlton Stucken, so he'll be up for a while.
Man, that's got to be tough for Charlie. I mean, his dad's always been there for him at these tournaments.
I know, but on the other hand, it might be a chance for him to prove himself on his own, without his dad's help.
That's true. It could be a real turning point for him.
Definitely. So while we're talking about the kids, let's delve a little deeper into Kai's background.
Okay. So the bio we have on Vanessa Trump paints a pretty interesting picture of her life.
She's had quite a journey. She was born Vanessa K. Pergolizzi in New York City back in December of 1977.
And she actually started out as a model.
Yeah, she was signed with the Ford Modeling Agency, and then she did some acting, too, had a few small roles in the early 2000s.
So she was already used to being in the spotlight before she met Donald Trump Jr.
Exactly. They got married in 2005 at Mar-a-Lago, but then they divorced in 2019.
And I have 5 kids together. Kai's the oldest.
Right. She's 17 now, according to both the Times of India and Slate.
And get this. All the articles we have, Men's Journal Slate and the Times of India, all mention that Kai's super passionate about golf.
Yeah, it seems like it's more than just a hobby for her. She's really serious about it.
And the Times of India even mentions that she's been seen playing golf with her grandfather, Donald Trump.
Which kind of makes you wonder if maybe that's how she and Charlie first met.
Or at least how their families first connected.
Yeah, it's possible. There are definitely a lot of overlapping circles here.
Okay, so let's bring it back to Charlie for a second. Obviously, everyone knows he's Tiger's son.
And Tiger's been really involved in his golf career, like you said earlier. He's coached him and caddied for him at all these tournaments.
Yeah, they seem really close. But it's pretty amazing that Charlie's still competing in the Junior Invitational, even though his dad won't be there.
It shows a lot of maturity and dedication. I mean, most kids would probably be pretty bummed out in that situation.
Yeah, but Charlie seems determined to make his own mark.
Absolutely, which is really impressive.
All right, so we've talked about Tiger and Vanessa. We've talked about Charlie and Kai. Now let's try to connect all the dots.
Okay, so first of all, we know that both sets of kids go to the same school in Palm Beach, Florida.
Yeah, that's according to both Slate and the Times of India.
Right. And then the Times of India also points out that Vanessa and Tiger live only about 20 minutes apart.
So they're practically neighbors.
Yeah. And that's on top of the fact that they both obviously have a shared interest in golf.
So it's like all these different factors were already in place before they even started dating.
Exactly.
I'm-
It's almost
I'm-
like it was destiny.
I know. It's crazy. And then to add another layer of intrigue to this whole thing, both the Times of India and Slate also talk about Vanessa's past relationships.
Oh, yeah. Her dating history is pretty colorful.
The Times of India even calls it anything but ordinary.
Apparently, she dated Leonardo DiCaprio at one point.
Wow, seriously.
Yeah. And then she was in a pretty serious relationship with Saudi Prince Khalid bin Bandar bin Sultan Al Saud, but that ended after 9/11.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
And even back in high school, she dated someone who was reportedly affiliated with the Latin Kings gang.
So she's definitely not afraid to date outside of her comfort zone.
Nope. It seems like she's always been drawn to strong personalities.
So when you consider all of this, it really makes you wonder what kind of impact this whole situation is going to have on Charlie and Kai.
I know.
Right?
They're both already in the spotlight because of their famous parents.
And now this whole romance is just adding another layer of complexity.
Exactly. I mean, how do you even process all of that when you're a teenager?
Right. Like, it's
Yeah.
got to be a lot to handle, especially when you're also trying to focus on your golf game.
Absolutely. It's a unique set of challenges and opportunities that most kids will never have to face.
So yeah, I guess the big question is, how will they navigate it all?
Only time will tell, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Okay, so let's wrap things up. What are the big takeaways from this deep dive?
Well, I think the most obvious one is that the worlds of celebrity politics and sports are all interconnected in ways that we might not always realize.
Yeah, it's like this whole thing with Tiger and Vanessa proves that.
And then, of course, there's the human element, too. These are real people with real families and real emotions.
And they're all trying to figure things out, just like the rest of us.
Exactly. And then finally is the question of how Charlie and Kai will be affected by all of this.
Yeah. Will they thrive under the pressure, or will it all be too much for them?
It's a question that only they can answer, but it's definitely a fascinating one to ponder.
Well said. So if you're interested in learning more about any of this, we encourage you to check out the sources we mentioned.
Yeah, the Men's Journal article, the Vanessa Trump biography, and the pieces from Slate and the Times of India.
They all provide a lot of great insights. And if you want to dig even deeper, you could always look into the world of junior golf.
Or even just the dynamics of blended families in general.
Yeah, it's a really complex topic, but one that's definitely worth exploring.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
We'll see you next time.